I'm Dane. My name is Jeanette. I'm Jeanette. Well, nice to meet you. I'm Rudy. It was too late already to stop Dane from leaving. Walking to his door at night had become a routine. It had already been about 2 months since Dane had taken his things and left. Oh, but I left my room to rid myself of these thoughts. Yes, Dane. Oh, if only I had thought to save his pillowcase from being washed. Why didn't I think of that? And thanks to Rudy, Dane and I are no more. It hadn't even been 1 year since we started going out. More like 4 months. Well, I guess I know how Rudy felt now. I wonder what he'd say now if I told him I envy his stubborn willpower. If only I'd had it when Dane told me he didn't want me to visit him at his new apartment. I'd have told him all the reasons he was wrong about thinking his presence was too much of an interference with my school life. When did he become a snoot about these things? The only thing that kept her from having told him he wasn't the distraction was the fact he wasn't imagining it. Did he think it was some peer of hers at school? No, because he said, "I wasn't your first." Jeanette's automatic response, "How could you say that?" wasn't met with an answer. I guess Rudy really was my first boyfriend, even though it wasn't supposed to be a real relationship. But I thought I made it clear Dane was the only one who had ever... Until she started having those dreams, Dane was the only one she'd thought of being with. She tried to pretend Dane somewhere in the room with her, but it was of no use as soon as she closed her eyes. Rudy. She opened her eyes, noticing the light was already streaming through the window. She got up, left the guest room without a glance behind, found her cell phone and sat down with it. She yawned and sent Rudy a text message she thought was, "I need to talk to you," but hadn't realized she'd nodded off in the middle of texting it. The message Rudy received from her the next morning, that is, afternoon, the sound of the phone ringing shocked Jeanette awake, and she answered, Rudy's amused reiteration of the message she'd sent him. "You need me?" Made her think she was having another dream. "Don't be so modest. You started this." Whoa, girl, is this how you're going to talk to me now? Does Dane know about this? Let me ask you this. If you're real Rudy, and not Dream Rudy, how did you know I need you? Jeanette, you think I'm playing with your head? Can you imagine how bewildered I am right now? You texted me this morning, 2:15 a.m., to tell me, are you mad at your boyfriend or something? I really texted you. Yeah, come over and I'll prove it. I'm sorry, Rudy. I thought I was asleep. Dane's my ex now anyway. When I sent you that, I can't believe how casually you said that. You need me to get you two back together? No, Rudy. No? So you broke up with him then? No. So it's like what happened to me and Tessa. What do you mean? what happened to you and Tessa? You have a car now, just come over. I'll tell you everything. What makes you think I can come over today? Today's fine. Apparently you can, or you wouldn't have set the date like that. I mean anytime. Date? What makes you think I'll go on a date with you? Okay, now you're just being contradictory, darling. You said you needed me. What I need is breakfast. This late? Yes, Rudy, I was asleep when you called. Well, I was asleep when you texted me, and I'm not complaining. This is so deja vu, but what were you doing up at? Failing to sleep. And what's this about Dream Rudy? I'll tell you later. Tell me when you're done eating. I'd hate for you to come over and have nothing to say. That, and if you really need me, get on with it. Or you could always take your time, raise my anticipation, because my day's been a total bore, and for all I know, you may just come over to rehash another one of those kinds of spats we always have a way of getting into. Remind me why you think you need me? After all, you may wish you never texted me when you arrive. I've not told a soul about Tessa breaking up with me until now, and I don't know how long it took you for the revelation, but I've needed someone for a long time. Weeks? Months? 4 hours. I'm kidding. No, she broke up with me almost 3 months ago. Oh, sorry. Don't be sorry unless you see me and change your mind. At least then it would make sense. Why are you putting yourself down like this? It's not like you, Rudy. I'm being you. I hope I'm being you from last year, that you no longer... You're right. About the old me. You actually helped me get past all that doubt. You made me see more about myself than I ever had. And Dane didn't? He told me he wished he'd never started with me. That it was for my own good he left me, and he thinks he's getting in the way of my studies. Snob. Exactly. Gosh, you don't know how much I want that sometimes. To be able to say things like me. No, you remember how much trouble my mouth gets me in. Don't wish that on yourself. I'm Rude E for a reason. Are you saying that's not even your real name? What do you think? You just blew my mind. I'm trying to think of all the other names you could have been. Now, before you apply some bland name like Charlie on me, I'm fooling with you. Rudy's my actual name. My dad named me. It figures. Is he as rude as you? You know, you're beginning to talk about it like it's my selling point. Rudy, all I meant is that sometimes I wish I could be as bold as you are and spout speaking my mind. I'm just playing with you. In all seriousness, go on, admire my boldness, but my crudeness is nothing to be envious of. In all honesty, maybe Dane is holding back because he's feeling guilty. What if it's the other way around? What could you possibly be guilty of? You're a little angel. Funny you should ask. Whew, that gave me chills, honey. I could practically hear you blushing through the phone. You seem very familiar with the dream version of me. I can already tell by your awkward silence I've got a lot to live up to. So if you don't mind, give me your juiciest description. Your eyes are the kind of green I'd always thought just belonged to cats. So I'm a cat now. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. It would be like taking a green Easter egg dye and pouring it all over an egg with a bisque shell. My eyes haven't changed. Your hair is the color of an apricot pit, submerged in water. So you could tell I have dark blonde hair, not semi-sweet chocolate brown. Semi-sweet describes you perfectly. I could tell the first time we met, from your stubble, that your hair must naturally be more akin to cocoa powder than chocolate syrup. I do like the way your dark hair contrasts with your eyes, but I'd love to see your natural color. Ha! Well then, you're in luck. I've not done anything to my hair since Tessa left. I haven't even cut it. The color of my roots goes down to my eyebrows, but the rest of the hair is still dark brown. That sounds good together. It sounds like you're talking about dessert. Should I be scared? I really do have to eat soon, though, so I'll cut my description shorter. Your skin is always smooth in my dreams and warm. Most of the time, you don't even have to touch me. All you do sometimes is speak, and your voice washes over me. You like my voice? I forgot how realistic that detail was when I heard your voice this morning. This afternoon. Rudy, you know what I mean. You paid more attention to me than I thought you had. Wow. Come on, just bring breakfast with you. Eat at my house right this second. I'm unlocking the door. Don't even worry about the way you dress. Just see me. Just see you. Don't you know that's all I've been able to... That's it. Whew. I can't listen anymore. You say you need me? Well, Jeanette, I'm not just a voice at the end of the phone. I'm really here, and I can't miss you more than I do right now. I'm hanging up, so you can get in the car and... Jeanette ended the call, rushed downstairs to make herself toast and juice. She had to be on her way, and she couldn't go to his house in the same old clothes she'd worn yesterday. She hopped upstairs with the toast half out of her mouth to find something nice to wear. I know how you are about guys waiting up for you. Yes, jackets keep you hot, but you're not going to need that in here. And you're hotter without it. It's good to see you didn't correct me that time. It's good to see you. You're even more... Enough with the pleasantries. It feels like we're going backwards. And here I thought you were going to walk me into your house backwards. You want me to? I don't know. Now it's awkward, I know. Maybe we should go. No. I mean, I only just got here. And you're wearing some cranberry dress that would shine just right under Dizzgo's lights. Complimented by an old favorite of mine. I ask you to wear anything, and you know how I am about cranberry on you. Remind me. Where would you like your kiss? Here on my floor? Or would you rather save it for later, on Dizzgo's dance floor? I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little frightened of what you're doing to me in that dress, but I made you a promise. Yes, that you'd have an open heart. My heart is open, more than it's been in a while. Your door is open. My door is... Why didn't you close it? Because I'm visiting my friend. I think you need someone who understands your desires. Someone who isn't afraid to approach you and... Or something along those lines. This is some reunion we're having. I guess I won't be needing this, having graduated Rudy's romance school. I don't know. You wouldn't be here right now if you didn't still have some extra lesson to learn. We left something unfinished. I'm in need of your help. If you're up for one last assignment, read this. What is it? It's yours. Tessa found it. It's the reason she left me. But I thought I tore it up. Rudy, why would you write another one? It wasn't hers to read, and it was written before the apology letters. It was before I was sorry. I was drunk when I wrote it. Yeah, I can tell you were drunk. And I had forgotten it completely, and that's why I never got rid of it. Tessa just looked at me and told me that the Rudy who wrote the letter wasn't the same Rudy she kissed in high school. I'd say it was all a misunderstanding. It's the exact opposite. I don't need to read any more of it. It sounds like you wrote it the same night you came home. From Dizzgo's, yes. You know what Dane said to me? I wasn't your first. Games of territory? Still? And he's supposed to be the mature one. So I'm immature? I meant in comparison to me. Virginity is mind thing, not so much body, so technically he's right. What? Before you get violent with me, he's your first mentally, see? But you didn't... Look here. Peace. Go ahead and scowl, at least I'm not in denial. You see these fingers? They still remember touching you, even if you don't. That doesn't count. Still counts as... whatever, it doesn't matter to you, why should it matter to him? Unless it does matter to you. Maybe I talk in my sleep? I can't get over the fact you're here. Have you changed your mind? I'm still here, right? And there's something I never got to tell you. You always knew how to tempt me, just by being you. So it upset me that night you came over, you told me to picture him. When I said you're nothing like him, I meant that. But not in the way you'd think. I wanted to want him, because I felt guilty for desiring you. But I want you, not as Dane. It was you trying to compare yourself that turned me off, and guilt that got in the way. I wasn't sure how sincere you were. It was wrong of me. Thank you for rejecting me that night. Maybe Tessa and you, Dane and me, weren't supposed to last. I don't know if we will. I just miss you so much. I can't believe you're asking me out. On my couch. You know very well I am. So why are you teasing me like this, please, Rudy? I didn't think you'd ever come back to me. I'm in shock. And if I so much as touch you right now, Rudy, listen. Those dreams I've had of you are continual, not occasional either. Serial. What does every night for the past 4 months mean to you? Still think I can't take it? This is already the best argument we'd ever had. Okay, granting me permission doesn't scare you? Well, look at you. You're too scared to even touch me. I'm not. Then what are you standing up for? Are you about to run from me? I'm about to take my shirt off, if you don't mind. You're making me sweat, and I don't want to stink. I didn't hear a no. I'll go get another. No. What was that? I said no. I'm sorry, no to what? No, I don't mind. You'll have to come a little closer. I'm doing a terrible job trying to read your lips. Tell me again? I don't mind you without your shirt. Still not getting it. Oh well, tell me when I'm back with another shirt, okay? Don't get another shirt. A little louder? You look so good, don't change. You were saying? Rudy, you... Talked you into my bedroom, I know. Rudy, you never showed me your your room before. You're laughing? Yeah, I'm tickled. Oh no. Why didn't you tell me before? Because I didn't want you to tickle me. Jeanette, I don't want to get laughed at when I'm trying to excite you. You have nothing to worry about. Telling me lets me know what not to do with you. Okay, I thought you'd be different about that. Well, tell me again, why haven't you shown me your bedroom before? You never asked to see it. And last time you were over here was the night we started kissing on my couch. Before that night, I wouldn't have even dared. If you'd only come over after that night, I would have tried. You would have turned me down, but I wouldn't have blamed you if you had. Unlike tonight. Oh my, was that your stomach? That won't do, come on. But what about... Not until you eat something. On second thought, if we're going out, I should change. You'll still outshine me, but going all out would be cruel to your stomach. You look fantastic. That's good. Worth the wait? Oh, yes. I'm sorry for making you wait. You know what it sounds like we're talking about? That's what you get for corrupting a simple conversation about food. Ha ha, simple conversations are boring. Have I ever bored you? I guess not. You guess? You're never boring, Rudy. Jeanette, I really wanted to bring you here, even if you weren't hungry. You would be ashamed to think you put on that dress just for it to be taken off. Before we leave, let's make the most of it. Jeanette, I can't drive away without telling you now. Dane's in there. I saw him when we were dancing. He was with some blonde. It's okay. Forget him. That's good, because I was afraid if you saw him with someone else, you'd be upset. I hope he saw us there. That's funny, because there was this girl staring at us, and I hoped she saw us there too. Oh my gosh, that's her! Psycho. Okay, we're going. Rudy? She's persistent. Are you sure you don't know her? Positive. She must be mistaking me for someone else. Crazy. What do you want? Dane? Look, she's with me now. We need to talk. Pull over. Jeanette tells me there is no we anymore. You messed up. Rudy, by we, I think he means... Tessa and I need to talk to you. No way, why would we? Wait, Tessa's the psycho blonde? No way. Maybe we should just get it over with and go home. Guess it couldn't hurt now. They've already hurt us as much as they could. I'm done with being miserable, aren't you? Sick of being bored. Before you say anything, you had your chance and it's over. That goes for you too. Of all colors, why blonde? I thought Jeanette understood. We need a break for her own good until she's finished studying. I'm just trying to be responsible. You'll never be responsible for how well or poor I do in school. We don't need a break. You got sick of me. That's okay, because tonight is the first night I've felt good again in months. After all, you've got Tessa, right? We're not together. Might as well be. What does it matter now? We just want to be friends. We want to be friends again with both of you. Well, maybe you blew it. After everything, you're choosing him? Don't act so surprised. You know I'm the one she'd turn to. I'm not surprised. Well, I am by your hair. Why'd you ever change it? Because I needed a change. I needed something else. You know that. After all, I broke up with you. So what's the problem now? Go find someone else. She's a little worried about the two of you, as am I. We don't know what kind of game you're playing now, but this isn't a game. We're not playing with you. What we do now is up to us, now that you've written yourselves out of the story. We're just moving forward. It's better for us all if you do the same. Hope you won't let all that spoil tonight for you. Of course not. If I had any doubt about what we're doing tonight, it's gone now. Unless I take you home. You're home. Don't. It's too early. Too early for what? For what we didn't finish. Jeanette, look out the car window. Okay. Whose house do you see? Yours. That's right. I just needed to hear one more time because I want tonight to be different from the night I know, and it is. You interrupted me. Please tell me you understand what happened that night, because the last thing I deserve is you here in my house tonight. No, I'm not being cruel. I just need to hear from you. You said you missed me, but your anger overcame it, and so it wasn't so much out of love. It was a mix of wanting and needing you, thinking it would bring me happiness. You told me you need me, Jeanette. Do you know what you're asking of me, and why? Because I hate missing you so much. As long as you're in my life again, I don't want to lose you. You mean more to me than to just see you every now and then. As much as it irks me when I feel like you're laughing at me, I love how you know how to challenge me. And of all of me misses you. You betrayed me that night, cheapening what could have been. It was without love, but I've seen your sensitive side, and I know it exists. It's not just a physical need. When I texted you at 2 in the morning, I meant to put, I need to talk to you. Good. That I don't have to kick you out tonight. You're not going to take advantage of me. After all we've been through, Rudy, this isn't just Les speaking. You want to be your girlfriend. What did you say? I said, close enough. What did you think I was going to say? You love me? Do you? Yes, I love you, Rudy. Gosh, how many ways can I make it clear? By not letting me do any more damage to you. Jeanette, I love you, too. I hurt you, too. Past tense. I want that to remain past tense. I don't want you to take what I do, as we were talking about earlier. I don't want to take you either. It's wrong tonight if all you want is a good fix of loving. If that's all you want from me, your car is just outside. But if you treat it right, don't abuse it, will be painless. I'll get you some tissues. Thank you. You're welcome. I'm not sad. I'm actually happy because, well, you get it now. I didn't forget your words either. You taught me a lot half a year ago that I have to be thankful for. Remember, what we do tonight doesn't make my behavior that night okay, alright? Of course it doesn't. You were a jerk. I'm ready. For you. Wrong answer, try again. I was kidding. I hope you were. I'm ready to make love to you. Love? Yes. Real love? Yes. Then go wash your hands first. Huh? You just blew your nose and you go, huh, when your boyfriend asks you to wash your hands? Hey, Jeanette, didn't you throw your hat over there on the floor near the chair that was sitting near the door? Looks like my shirt is missing. They were here. Who? Read the letter. Dear Rudy, I came here wanting to talk. I just miss you as a friend. Instead, I found Jeanette's car in your driveway. I called Dane to see if it really was her car. He came right away, and I was right. Your clothes were on the floor, along with the fedora. Dane and I argued over whose it belonged to. He's positive it's Jeanette's. But I was around a long time before he showed up again. I remember you wearing it enough times. So I'm guessing you changed into something else and took her somewhere. Dane and I are going to your favorite place tonight to see if we can find you. But if we don't find you in time to warn you, here's what I have to say. Even if Jeanette begs you, don't give in. You've made her suffer enough. Dane told me he's afraid there's some part of her that won't heal. Some part that thinks she owes you something. You don't owe her anything unless it's an apology and a promise never to touch her again. Dane says you've already done that once. Do you need to be reminded? I know it may be none of my business. I'm no longer your girlfriend, but please hear me out as a friend. I tell you to look up Stockholm Syndrome, but you're not stupid, just impulsive. Do I have to remind you how impulsive you can get when you're invulnerable? Sorry we took the clothes. along with the fedora, yours or Jeanette's, but we agreed it was the only way to get your attention, knowing what a perfectionist you are. Please think about this. Show Jeanette this letter, explain Stockholm Syndrome if she has any questions, or tell her to call me. Tessa. Are you under my control? What kind of question is that? I forgot how stubborn you can be. For once, that's a good thing. I'm feeling really thirsty. I'm too tired to do anything. Could you get me a glass and just go home? No. Did you get that? For once, we don't care about your jealousy. Leave us alone. We'll be just fine. And I'd appreciate it if you returned my clothes and the hat I gave Jeanette the first night we went out, okay? A year ago, something like that. Because it was secret. Just ask Dane. Does he really think she does? Or is that just your conclusion? You can't just go around diagnosing people. You're an image consultant, not a therapist. Whatever. Goodbye. Still looking at that? Don't let it bother you. We were just talking about that, remember? Momentarily, you almost believed her, didn't you? Do you know what it means? I don't need to know what it means if it means she doubts I love you for real. That's all I need to know. Jeanette, we don't have to make love, ever. Do you understand that? Are you having second thoughts? If you don't want me here, I guess I don't see the point in staying. I knew you didn't get it. That's okay, I'll show you. In the bathroom. What are you going to show me? I'm not that kind of freak, okay? I just wanted to show you an example of what I mean. You're more of a freak than you're letting on if this is your idea of it isn't. Can you imagine getting off on... That's not my point. You see how clean this mirror is? You were that mirror 6 months ago, and this is what I did. You think I'm ruining it now? I just got started. This is you after months of the right kind of treatment, maybe a good sparkly washing every single day. Beautiful, isn't it? Now, I'm not saying this is the case with you, but if it were, Stockholm Syndrome would mean that the mirror thought it deserved the toothpaste and wanted to get smeared all over again. Maybe not even out of the desire of getting smeared, but just the fact that it was getting anything from the toothpaste. The mirror would be the toothpaste slave, and, okay, Rudy, I'm here because I want to be here. No one could have made me. You can't even make me stay. This is my choice. I have a stronger sense of self-worth than to let myself be mistreated by you. Would I be here if I wanted to put up with that from you? No. I know the difference between the night we made out on your couch and the night you came over to my house. Remember, I'm the one who told you I wanted something meaningful. I thought we'd already had this conversation before you asked me to wash my hands. This time I have to wash my hands. I've got toothpaste all over them. Are you really upset with me for wanting to make sure you're not deceiving yourself? You promised you'd never break another promise. I still mean that. Then could you promise me not to try and have that conversation with me again? It feels like you're not taking me seriously. I keep bringing it up because I couldn't take you more seriously than I do tonight. Promise first, please. I promise you I won't bring it up. But if you do, I'm here to talk about it. If you change your mind tonight, I'm not going to stop you. Thank you. You don't ever have to count on me bringing it up. The only way to stop me now is to kick me out. If I told you I wasn't hoping that would be the case, I'd be lying. Rudy, I thought you said you wouldn't tickle me. It was the only way I could think of to wake you up. Don't confuse this with me kicking you out, but I'm going to take you back home. That's not fair. You're too tired to even know what you're saying. How long did you sleep last night? It's only 8 p.m. now. I can put your heels in the car first and carry you. I'm fine. What are you still doing in that dress? Want me to help you out of that? What are you doing here? Go away. I thought I already kicked you out once. Okay, I'll go. I'm going. Don't go now. I was just about to crawl in with you. You just demanded I go. You must have been having a nightmare then. The note you left me said you were staying. I'm just holding you to your word. That must be pretty frightening to you. I wasn't afraid. Okay, if you weren't, then tell me why you appeared to be when I walked in. I was ashamed of myself. It felt so real. I couldn't stop thinking about how I'd just undressed you and helped you into your nightgown. I never would have thought you'd look that hot in a strapless bra, by the way. I can't believe you did that without my permission. You're not really upset with me. I must have said really weird things. Maybe you thought weird things, but you were too tired to say anything loud enough for me to understand. You looked so amazing I wouldn't have noticed. So what about your dream again? I wish so much you were in bed with me that you suddenly were, but wearing the dress as though I hadn't taken it off. Oh, you know, I had a dream about you too tonight. I wasn't expecting this reaction at all. I thought you'd be disgusted. Should I stop now? Is this too much for you? Rudy, stop teasing me. Stop telling you? Okay. No, tell me. I thought you came to me because you wanted me just as much, and I thought you were awake. When I touched your shoulder, you awoke with a cry of fear, rejecting me instantly. I was ashamed for having frightened you, but I'll admit something. I was a little freaked out when you came to the guest room after all, just waking from that, because I didn't think you'd really come here. Shouldn't you be sleeping? It was 4 a.m. when I checked the time. That would give me 8 hours of sleep, since I went to bed early tonight. I'm sorry I scared you. Wow, I have no idea how long I've been asleep. Why be sorry? You always have the right to turn me away, awake or in my dreams. But if you mean for waking me, thank you. Don't be sorry for that. I'm also sorry we didn't get to last night, and you had to bring me back here. You'd think we did nothing. The way you're saying that, be honest, was a bad date? You make everything interesting. I thought it was wonderful. It felt just like it used to be, but better because? Well, you're no longer a distraction. I'm able to just be when I'm with you now. Back then, I could only wish and dream about the future I'd have with Dane. I've been thinking back over times we spent for a while now, wondering why I never hung out with you without the pretense of finding a way to get Dane's attention. The only thing I could come up with is that I had to struggle with myself over what was right when I was with you. What I failed to see then is that it wasn't about either of you. It was about myself. You were always daring, and I was terrified of the side you brought out in me. I understand more about myself than I have ever in my life. Now I'm wishing I really had brushed my teeth when you were at my house. What would you like to drink? You didn't even ask if I was hungry. You just assumed I was. I'm not going to let you go hungry. I mean, you didn't even have to come here. And if I like being here, and visit me the correct way next time. It's not like you even invited me. True, but only if I behave. Darling, I think you know what attracts you to me. Well, if you think it's a bad idea, I think it's a bad idea only if it would make you feel bad. Orange juice, by the way. Thank you. Huh? I'd like some orange juice. Do you feel bad with me here now? No. With you here, I feel more alive than I have in a long time. Then you know how you'll feel when I come here again, unless you'd prefer to catch me off guard like you did yesterday. I didn't catch you off guard. You invited me. As if I could turn you away after reading the message from you. You know deep down, you wanted me to invite you. You can say all you want, that you meant need to talk to you, but we both know you wanted more than... Well, now we have 30 minutes, maybe even less. My grandma will leave for work soon. At my house, we wouldn't have to wait for anyone to leave. I'd better get dressed. Let me know if you'd like me to help you out of that nightgown. Hi, Jeanette. This is Tessa. Haven't heard from you in a while. What are you up to these days? If you want to catch up, we could hang out anytime. I'll even give you a haircut free of charge, or just a trim. If that's all you want, please call me. Miss you, little sis. Jeanette, this might confuse you that I'm calling from Tessa's phone, but I left mine at home when I rushed over here. To Rudy's. Whatever he told you, please remember who you're dealing with. He doesn't want to just hang out with you. Just wants to use you to get over Tessa. But you can't do anything for him. Tessa believes he only used her to get over you. I know that with the huge heart you've got for him, you want to think things could be different. But he'll always... Jeanette, please hear me out. I think I just spotted you with Rudy, and please pick up. You look like you're having a good time with him. Wait, he just whispered in your ear? You're in more danger than... Jeanette, it's Tessa. This isn't jealousy. I don't think you understand. Behind all Rudy's joking, he's serious. He's not going to let up. Okay, did you see us? We're at Dizzgo's. Okay, Rudy just looked over here. Wow. I see you want this justice, but you're falling for his tricks. Don't you see this isn't fair for you? You can say this isn't my business. You're leaving? I can't watch this happen. Dane, look, they're Lee. Hey, Tessa and I drove past Rudy's house just now. Did something Tessa or I say finally get to you? I hope so, because you've already left, thank goodness. You don't really owe us anything. I don't want to know. Rudy, I can dress myself. What are you doing out? What am I doing outside my kennel? You're a little demeaning in the morning, aren't you? I don't know what you were up to, but I got bored. I'm pretty sure Grandma left a while ago. I can pick my own outfits without your help. But you didn't. I'll wait. Thanks. I'm just not used to you being quiet. Or this quiet anyway. I'm just thinking about that kiss you're giving me after I brushed my teeth. Good, I thought you were mad at me. What could I possibly be mad at you for? I'm only holding back my thoughts because I don't want to miss out on that kiss. You know, I might only give you one kiss unless you tell me now. There was a narrow trail we passed a few minutes ago. I'm imagining we found out it was an orchard. Right about now, you've got me against a tree. We're not stopping until our clothes are covered in grass stains and the smell of the grass we've been crushing begins to nauseate us, reminding us of the meals we've forgotten to eat. Wow. You throw an apricot pit at me, which turns into a little fight that ends with us back in the grass, and you have no problem kissing all over me. Our lips taste like the fruit we've been stuffing ourselves on in haste to... Jeanette? Open your eyes, we're here. I'm going to brush my teeth, and that should give you time if you start having second thoughts about this. If you do, we can still date. It would just mean you're not ready. I've been ready. And I'll understand if you're not here when I come out of the bathroom. Just know there's no backing out from me when you start playing along. I'm serious. Are you ever? What if she hesitates? What if he hesitates? What really kept you so long? What are you referring to? At your house when you made me wait. I'm sorry about that. I was deleting messages from my phone. What, did you forward that text message you sent me to everyone you know to see who was interested? Of course not. I knew you wouldn't. They were from Tessa and Dane. That reminds me. They've got your hat and the clothes I changed out of before we left for Dizzgo's. Were there any messages about when they plan on returning them? Maybe on your phone, but the ones on mine were all rewordings of the same warnings. I can imagine. We don't need to know what they've done with our stuff yet, right? If you checked your phone now, I'd begin to think you care more about those things. Then first, let me check that my phone is off. I'd say excuse our exes, but they have a point. Last night I used the term make love. That's new to my vocabulary. I hope for your sake that my mind isn't the only part of me that knows how to differentiate what's sex and what's... Don't think about it so much that you're not yourself. That's just it. Being yourself is good for you, but being myself is awful for you. You don't know that. You want to prove me wrong? So much. Then this is the last time I'll say this. It's not too late to back out. The hat isn't here. What if the note says when they plan on bringing it back? You tell me. You don't want to know? Hi, Rudy. After Dane went home relieved to see Jeanette didn't stay over, I got this odd feeling you weren't really home. I was right, but I wouldn't dare tell Dane. You should really start locking your door, you know. If I keep your secret, which I'm considering, it's just for Dane. I think it would hurt him more than it would you. How could she know how he feels about it? Whether he'd be hurt by the knowledge or not, it's really not his to know about anymore, is it? No. No. If she's unhappy or he's unhappy, that's not on us. They missed out. Jeanette, are you trying to tickle me now? No, just getting back to where we left off. Don't treat it like we've got any obligations or it will feel like a chore. Here. If you wanted to just hug me, you could have said so. If I wanted to just hug you, I'd just hug you sitting up. I have no problem with that. Hug me whichever way you like best. You know what I mean. I don't just want to hug you. You're making me feel overdressed now that you're the one without a shirt. I have an idea. I'm about to check the door to make sure it's really locked this time. If I haven't already locked it and I have to lock it, then when I come back, I'll let you strip me. You can even rip them off if you want. If I find that I've already locked it, you'll have to let me undress the rest of you, including your bra. Change of plan, put your shirt back on. Hey, Rudy. I just messed up with Tessa. She said she wanted to return this to you and asked if I could. She didn't think you'd answer the door for her. May I come in? Yeah, come in, Drake. Am I interrupting something? Where are you going? To the bathroom. Why? Because I thought you might like something to drink first. No, thank you. Hi, Jeanette. Dane is here too? That's Dane's car out there. It's mine. He has his own. Look, here's your hat. I felt sorry for you when I first saw you. I thought you were depressed. You enjoy being two-timers, is that it? You'd both rather string people along? Stop, Drake. That's not at all what's going on. Tessa sent you here knowing that's Jeanette's hat, and if she's pulled you into this, you deserve to know the truth. Did Tessa tell you she broke up with me? Did she tell you how long ago it was and why? She left me 3 months ago after finding a letter intended for Jeanette. I wrote it before I started dating Tessa, and I was drunk. Of course, it wouldn't help anything to tell her, which I did. But for what I've got now, I wouldn't change that. So you lied to me. What about? So you two were going out before? Not exactly. Then what exactly? Well, it wasn't real. At first it was just a way to get Dane's attention. I would spend so much time with Rudy. You were what, 16? 17. 17. Rudy, I don't need to know anything more about how you lured her in. It wasn't like that. But let's hear him say he didn't charm you, knowing the advantages he had, like being older, more experienced. You've still got it a little off. I started out truly wanting Jeanette to be with Dane, but he wasn't even trying. All he did was watch worriedly as she came through the door later and later. I started to get nervous. Envious. He wasn't making any moves, but she needed love. Love I was ready to offer. I came on too strong. She turned me down, as she should have. It was wrong of me, and I still regret that. But somehow, she missed me. I'm the one she went to, and Dane dumped her. Now Dane and Tessa are trying everything, thinking they can convince us it's a bad idea. They even came over yesterday and took my hat. But why'd you pick Rudy? Hey, Dane, I'll be right with you in a moment. I'm not here to make an appointment. Okay, well, I'll be getting off work soon as I'm done with this floor. Hey, I think you need it. I need to talk to you. Only after you finish that. Do you think I'm drunk or something? All I can tell is that you're exhausted. Whatever the reason, I know that will help. I've been thinking a lot about the things Jeanette and Rudy said last night. If there really was anything she saw in me back when she chose me over him, what was it? Rudy and I are so different. He said he fascinates her. Well, I want to know, since you went for him too, what is it about him? Why do you choose him, and why did she? I can tell you why I fell for him, but you'll have to ask Jeanette why she loves Rudy. I wouldn't expect her to give the same response. The truth is, I gave up. You cared about her studying in school. That doesn't mean it was a lame excuse. I wasn't really lying, but it wasn't the true reason. I didn't want to be too much of a distraction because I was getting too distracted by her. I was only able to be with her, really with her, when her grandma wasn't around. She's 18, close to 19 now, with the feeling that I'm not any better than Rudy. began to hit me when I picked her up from school one day. Her grandma was going to be working late that day, and I couldn't wait to get Jeanette back home. While I waited, I watched all these kids getting picked up by their parents, kids too young to drive themselves home. Kids old enough to go out in secret because they were too young for their parents to allow it. When she emerged from that crowd, having blended in so well, I'd mistaken her for any one of them at first glance. She smiled in my direction, running. Then she looked back as a kid called out to her and waved. It wasn't until then I realized those kids are her peers. What separates her from the crowd isn't my obvious favoritism of her over them, but all of what happens away from her school life and any time she's not with her school friends. Don't forget that she wanted you just as much as you wanted her. I was the first person to comfort her after what she went through with Rudy. Whether or not he had something that night that would be the perfect excuse for holding her in my arms, I had just come back from finding out we weren't cousins after all. I was so distracted by that, instead of being disgusted to hear that Rudy told her to imagine herself with me instead, I was already internally trying to figure out how to turn her night around. At the time, I thought it wasn't selfish of me to want to make her feel good, but sometimes I wonder how much of it was out of pride. I convinced myself it was the right thing to do, giving her what she wanted because I was the one she desired, but I should have given her time to heal because sometimes she would get so melancholy and I didn't know how to help. It stung me when she'd say his name, and I couldn't tell if she sounded sad because of the disappointment he'd been or if she missed him. I was her boyfriend, not him, and it was wrong of me, but sometimes I'd just wait for her to finish without offering any comforting words because I hoped she'd just stop talking if she was going to mention him. Then I resented the school she went to, wanting her with me all the time, but I was afraid that one wrong move when we got to be together again would make me no different from him. After I picked her up from school that day, I started to see things differently. I had been selfish. It started out as love, but my lust for her was corrupting it. I thought if I kept my distance until she graduated, it would give her the time she needed to heal, and it would give me time to reevaluate what I feel for her. I thought, if this is real love, I won't need her to be with me all the time, and it will grow inside me the more I miss her. If I can love her as much as I did in the beginning, then it would be enough to really last. Instead of telling her any of this, I broke her heart. I told her my plans for moving out, but I got upset because I didn't really want to move. I blamed it on things that aren't even true, and I feel like it's my fault she's with Rudy because one of those things I said, it was a complete fabrication. Well, what did you tell her? I implied... Go on. I won't get upset. After all, I broke up with Rudy, not the other way around. I told her I wasn't her first, implying I thought Rudy was, even though I know that isn't true. I thought she'd get angry and move on, pretending she no longer had feelings for me. I thought if it's real love, we'll be getting back together again when it's easier for both of us, which I think is stupid now, because if you have to maintain a relationship with someone, or it will be as though nothing ever happened. I can't be angry with you for your accusation. That was more of an implication. Because there's this huge part of me that knew deep down things just couldn't continue with the way things were going. This will sound horrible, but I wished Rudy would have one more chance with her, find that it's not everything he hoped it would be, and then he'd be disappointed and come find me. Instead, I'm the one who's disappointed because I was right. I had a feeling that if there was a chance of it happening, it would. Of course, I thought she'd shoot him down. This isn't really nice of me, considering I was his girlfriend, but I keep picturing something where Jeanette would still be with you, and she'd firmly tell him nothing would ever happen because she'd only love you. Now I know it's just wishful thinking. You want him back? I never wanted him gone. I want him happy. And even if it hurt to find out last night that he's happier than he's been in months now that he's with Jeanette, it still hurts a lot less than watching him pretending to be happy with me. Did you return Jeanette's hat and Rudy's clothes? I don't want to bother them anymore. I could hardly sleep last night, and you don't look like you slept at all. It's just not worth it. It stresses us out, but makes them think we're the ones being crazy. I slept a little, but I kept having the same nightmare again and again. I was running up and down flights of stairs with hardly any lighting, following the sounds of Jeanette's cry for help, but just when I thought I was about to reach her voice, it would get distant again. It was too dark for me to even see her, but I could hear her crying for help. Do you think her willingness to be in a relationship with Rudy is really out of wanting to be with him? Or do you think it's a cry for help? I don't want to believe this is what she wants, but I think if it is what she desires, the desire for him in and of itself is a cry for help. Are we supposed to sit back and watch this happen? No. We have to live our lives and let them find out for themselves if it's a bad idea. The chances are, the more they receive discouragement, the more determined they'll be to prove themselves as a couple. Please don't use the term couple applied to them. It's making me feel nauseated. You feel nauseated because you need food. It's time you had more than coffee. But it makes me feel weird too. I'll refrain from mentioning it from now on. Thanks for the coffee. It's the least I could do. You showed up as soon as you could last night to help me, and I was probably overreacting, but you were still there for me. So thank you. You're welcome. In return, I'll pay for lunch. I ate already. Thank you anyway. I would feel weird eating in front of you. At least let me get you something to repay you. To repay me, you could let me cut your hair sometime. Call me tomorrow when I have my appointment scheduled with me and we can sort it out. Why'd you pick Rudy? After all we've been through, I knew I could rely on him, and that's what I desire most right now. Rudy won't let me be absorbed in self-pity. He gives me encouragement to live life again. There's a feeling of adrenaline that I get when I'm with him that I've been afraid to admit for the longest time I've been missing. I don't have to prove myself when I'm with him. I don't feel inadequate. For someone who gets on my nerves like no one else can, I feel at ease with him. Tessa and Dane have it all wrong about their theories that he's in control of me because being with him again has given me an exhilarating sense of freedom. Yesterday we spent most of the evening at Dizzgo's. I was the same way by the end of it, so he drove me home early, but he had to stay in the guest bedroom at my grandma's house because he'd driven me home in my own car. He didn't want my grandma to know he was there, and I think the stress of that kept him up last night. Goodbye. It's all right, you don't have to explain. Make yourself comfortable. Still be here when I wake up. You're still here. It isn't too late for you to kiss me before you have to go home. It's not that late. I don't have to go home yet. Good. Then maybe I can keep you here a little longer. Where are you going? I was about to kiss you. I'm going to get your late lunch. I cooked for you while you were sleeping. Thanks, I think I'm a little hungry, but how long did I sleep? You slept 4 hours. 4 is in the number, or do you mean I slept 4 hours? It feels wrong eating this when you don't have one yourself. I already ate. Oh, and don't worry. I locked the door as soon as Drake left, so we won't have any distractions. This has to be the most time we've ever spent together. I know. Yesterday at this hour, I had already been here 2 hours. We weren't at Dizzgo's? It took a little while for you to talk me into going. I know, and it's taking us longer still to... What is taking us so long? It's not only a big step, Jeanette. This is irreversible. I don't have any doubt about your feelings for me, and I don't think it's unhealthy. With all the effort you and I put into getting you with Dane, I'd be lying if I said I'm not a little bit threatened, but I thought you might still love him. Yes, you and I have something, but you and Dane had something too. What if you got something unfinished with him as well? Do you know what it feels like hearing you say that? I've done everything I could think of to prove I'm here because I want to be with you and no one else. What more could you possibly ask of me to make it more clear? Tell me you're not going to ask me to forget the best weekend I've had in a long time because you're sorry you've led me on and think I'm going to listen to you. If you tell me to reconsider Dane, because I'm not going to reconsider him, and I'm not going to listen if that's all you've got to tell me. Rudy, don't you realize I pined away for Dane while the person I got close to was you? Look, I just think before this goes any further, you should call him. If you think that, then you're better off slaving your breath. That's not his business. Jeanette, that's not what I'm trying to say. I want to be there to be peace. I want there to be peace between the two of you. If you've not really completed your last arguments, please resolve them before we continue. Only then can I be sure it's really over and you're not going to end up back in his arms by the end. Our arguments can't be resolved. Then prove it to me. Why should I have to? Well, you don't have to, but at least then I know for certain that the relationship you had with him wouldn't have worked out, even if he hadn't broken up with you. It would not have lasted because it felt less and less like I knew him. I've been trying to tell you this. I can't expect you to know right now at this very moment. If you believe we'll last together ourselves, I guess I'm just still in shock that you're here. I'm not questioning what could make you want me. I'm only asking you to confirm that all this is really happening. I'm afraid I'll ruin everything, making things worse than it was before. Right now, you're still his. I was only fooling with you earlier when I said that technically Dane wasn't the first to touch you. I could set things right. Tell him you really do belong solely to him. If you love him, I will do that out of love for you. Rudy, I want to belong to you. I'm no longer Dane's anything. We're not even family, so don't talk about Dane for him to leave me over that, especially if it were true. Rudy, I was talking. Yeah, about Dane. You just said you didn't want to talk about him anymore. I took that as an invitation. Jeanette, I don't know what I love more. The way you let me off my leash, or the way you're never afraid to look me in the eye and tell me when you expected better behavior of me. Don't ever let me change anything about you. It's starting to feel real. Now that it is it all right? 6 months ago when you came over, your hands were trembling, and I thought you were afraid. But now I know how you felt. How I felt then. Want to know how I feel like now? I don't know about you, but I've been in this shirt too many hours. It's denim, too. That must have been uncomfortable to sleep in. Torturous. Whenever you're ready, you can help me out of this. Think of it as our start button. Are you ready to love without interruption? Rudy, we're not going to have any more interruption. I dealt with that. The door in this case can be used in place of your clothes. They serve the dual purpose of shutting me out and interrupting contact. Remind me, what was the deal we made before Drake showed up? Rudy? I can't get over how lovely your eyes are. You woke me up just to look at my eyes? No. I have to get dressed. I have school tomorrow, and I forgot to make the guest room bed. I don't want my grandma to... What? You had to get one last look in my eyes before you left? Well, I couldn't just leave you. I mean, I wish I didn't have to leave. I wish you didn't have to leave. If only I could stay and we could. We can't again tonight. Well, your eyes are so distracting. You love being distracted by my eyes. You know I do. I'm just so flustered. Wow. I can't believe how incredible. So are you. Rudy, I love you. I thought 1:40 was late. Wow. Just think, months ago, waiting for you this long would have killed me. I'd be surprised if it weren't for how boring this has become. I see I've successfully surprised you. I didn't stay out for your benefit. This time it's not about you. I know that all too well. I'm starting to think that as soon as he entered the picture, he made it all about him. When did you fall in love with Rudy? Did you really just ask that? Were you ever going to tell me? Dane, even when you were living here, you were distant. I began to doubt that you had ever felt something for me. Even that lame excuse of yours is for my own good, and I need to concentrate? Stop, Jeanette. Yes, it was a lame excuse, but all I felt was guilt. I didn't stop feeling anything for you. In fact, I lusted after you more than I ever had. It wasn't a happy sort of feeling, and maybe it wasn't love. I thought that time away from you would only help me fall in love with you a better way. I wanted to love you and not feel wrong for it. You let me fall in love with Rudy. Even from before, when I spent time with him, you weren't trying to be around me, because I felt guilty then too. I wanted you, but you might have been related to me. No, Dane. If you had cared about me at all, you would have tried to know me. Rudy was there for me when you weren't, and he remains. Now I've told you, but you haven't told me why you're here. Because I don't need this anymore. What? Your old house key. Take it. Do you remember when we convinced ourselves that we were supposed to be together because of what we learned, that my mother was in love with your father, never got the chance to reveal to him that they weren't related by blood? How that meant we weren't related at all? And we took that story with all its similarities and tried to make us fit in somewhere? The man Paula is finally going to marry, the man who loves her, has loved her all along, he's not the one she initially fell in love with. My father was the friend of your father. So, if you wanted to portray their stories accurately as possible, we are now, more than ever. Yes, you were meant to love me, but something within me, as much as I wanted to love you in return, will always turn you away. Funny how the obnoxious one actively repels all except for you. I've been asking myself all day, what is it about Ruby that draws in sweet girls like you and Tessa, but I'll never get the answer I'm looking for. I want you to tell me it's nothing, instead of everything, that makes up who he is. You can't love Rudy or anyone like him with a generalized acceptance of the things that make most other girls run, not when there's nothing general about him. You must have reverence for every facet of his personality. The night you met him, you promptly introduced yourself as my cousin. You asked why I came here, though. I came here because your grandma called my mom and told her you had cleaned out the guest room sheets, as if wishing I could come back and use them again. At least that's how she took it, as you missing me. My mom, in turn, called me, saying I should visit you, even if it is over between us. I didn't tell her anything about you and Rudy. How could I? I don't know anything, but I thought maybe she was right. Even though your grandma let me in, I brought my old key because I thought, if you turn down my offer to protect you from him, which you did by your absence, then this key is useless. It affords me nothing. Your stance and beliefs aren't much different from Drake's. He came by Rudy's house earlier today, and there are things I could say to you now, And as much as I could explain, it would feel repetitive. Tessa sent him over with my hat, which was a gift to me from Rudy, by the way. So you and Tessa are both right about who it belongs to. It's a shared hat. Good night, Dane. No, I don't need your protection, and you should talk to Drake. After all, I'm too tired to recount that conversation right now. Did you get any rest at all last night? Well... Tell me about it. I had a nightmare. I'm so sorry. It's not your fault. It was a good dream at first, but then it got stressful. What happened in the dream? I dreamed that we were planning to meet in the bathroom in between my classes. You got impatient, and I started to get worried that you were going to cheat on me with one of my classmates. Well, you're the one I missed all day, no one else. I missed you too. Why did you say you were sorry? You didn't get much sleep last night because of me, so when you said you had a nightmare, I thought you had a nightmare about last night. Last night was incredible. You told me to stop. If I had really wanted you to stop, would I have come back today like you asked me to? Then what about that nightmare? I trust that there's no one else, but it's the thought of you getting tired of me. Because I want you even more now than I had, but now that you know what it's like to be with me, it's the reverse. I want you more, but I've been afraid you'd get too scared to continue with me. Rudy, all day long I wished I was here with you. Last night was so great, and I'm still amazed we got to twice in one day. I know why you had that nightmare now. I already told you why. Why did I have that nightmare, in your opinion? Your dream Rudy got jealous of me for getting in the way of his time with you, so he gave you a nightmare instead, as punishment. Or maybe he's trying to turn me against you, but it's not going to work. If he really has a problem with me, I know something that would make him more accepting. Yes. Catch up on sleep in my bed. But if I dream of you with you there, it's all right. If you do, then I'd probably cease to be a threat. 'Cause deep down you'd know I was there. Are you pretending to sleep? I told you I didn't know if I'd be able to sleep next to you. I heard you undressing and imagining you taking off your clothes excited me too much. You want to see? Yes. Wait, are you sure you'd be okay with that? I mean, should I stop? Rudy, I wouldn't be in your bed right now if I weren't okay with this. Why did you stop? Because I want to give you pleasure, not hurt you. I'm not hurt, just sensitive. Last night it had been 5 months since I'm not in pain, though. Hold on, 5 months ago? How long were you going out? We dated for 4 months. So half of the time you spent with him, you were dreaming about me. And from the sound of it, he didn't really please you. Well, he withdrew. I don't need to know the details. All I need to know is in your tone and what you said, which tells me that relationship never really was going to last. Rudy, you don't really think I'd have been with you if I thought there was any chance of me working things out with him, do you? No, I think you've wanted me longer than you've been willing to admit. It's a shame you didn't tell me sooner. I'd have been there immediately. Rudy? What about Tessa? What? I was lonely and I missed you. But you were with Tessa. What about her? Answer. Jeanette, you are the answer. Tessa knew it. Don't act like you didn't know I wanted you. You didn't really think it would have lasted between me and her, or you wouldn't have texted me a few days ago expecting it to be over. Don't tell me you're sorry for her. You convinced me you could never see yourself with me. I was going to sever my chances with her on the chance you might one day change your mind about me, but then you brought her to my door and tore up that letter. I was willing to try and be happy with her, but it was empty, because I longed for you. Please don't cry over that. We're together now, aren't we? Rudy, I love you. I'm not crying because you wanted me. I'm crying because you let her believe in you. But you imagine me like she wasn't there. If I hadn't been in the relationship with Dane, and we both came to your door that day, could you have even chosen between the two of us? Jeanette, you're the one I'd have chosen. You're the one who pushed me towards someone I hadn't thought of that way in years. Jeanette, you don't have to leave. Jeanette? Did you really sneak off with my agenda? Tessa did, before you ask why I'd ever talked to her. As long as she didn't scare you away from me, after all, you've come back. It's so late, too. You couldn't wait till tomorrow to see me again? No, it couldn't wait. I want to tell you everything. I'm surprised you didn't take a peek. Not that I've been expecting you. I'd have thrown away some of the notes first. I prefer it when you surprise me. Do you? So you wanted to tell me everything. When you told me you thought of me during the time you and Tessa went out, I imagined what it'd feel like to be with you for a while and slowly find out you were wishing I was someone else. I was reminded of that nightmare I had when I was afraid you'd cheat on me, and I began to doubt you. I still have my apology letter from you, and I read it every now and then. You promised not to lie, yet it sounded like you deceived Tessa into thinking you loved her. So I left your house questioning how honest you are with me, and if I mean nearly as much to you as you've told me. So when I got home and called Tessa, I wanted to hear her side of the story. She told me that she felt dirty because she'd known you as her friend for so long, and like she was keeping you from a more meaningful relationship. She said she'd tried in the beginning, confused because she knew she loved you, but didn't feel like it was enough. She confessed that she found your agenda long before she found a letter you wrote me. When she realized it hurt worse to see that you'd stopped making plans altogether when I started going out with Dane than it did for her to see how much effort you put into planning things out with me, she understood what was missing in your relationship. She could never love you the way you loved me. And she saw that you hadn't stopped loving me because you were in relationship with her but without any plans. And when she found the letter you wrote me, she used it as a way to escape in such a way to bring your feelings for me into focus. She actually wanted you to go for what you really wanted, but she took the agenda with her because she still felt like some part of her couldn't part with you. For one thing, she began to second guess if it would even be right for you to ever have a chance with me. After thinking long enough about your drunken letter to me, because you hadn't really described what happened, she just picked up on clues that you'd done something damaging to me enough for me to quit talking to you, and she assumed the worst. So I told her what really happened. Yes, you were too forward with me, knowing I was in love with Dane, and you tried to seduce me, but you weren't really going to rape me. I turned you down. I forgot to tell you about this, but a few days ago, while I was with you, she left a message on my phone, wanting to hang out with me. She told me today that she was hoping to give me your agenda to give it back to you, but when I didn't answer, she came to your house to give it back to you. The only reason she didn't is that the letter you wrote me was sitting out, which reminded her why she was so reluctant to return it in the first place. She feared that a relationship with you could mean more harm than good for me. It's funny how, in these past few days, I'd assumed Tessa wouldn't ever understand, but she listened when I told her how, when I was with Dane, I felt like I'd given up a feeling of connectedness I'd had with you, for a detached thing that was supposed to feel like love, but left me empty. I had all these questions about myself and about why it didn't feel right, when I believed Dane was supposed to be right, but wasn't, and I couldn't talk to him about it because I didn't think he'd answer. I felt so alone with him, but as soon as you're in the room, there's no space left for questioning. You don't hide from me. I never feel like I don't know you, and I love you so much I can't handle the thought of you with someone else. I couldn't sleep tonight until I made it clear to you that I wasn't mad earlier, just afraid of the thought you could love someone after me just as much as if it were for nothing, because I feel like you put so much into loving me, and... Shh. Jeanette, you fit a place in my life that no one else could ever feel. We shouldn't keep mentioning the end because then it just stings as if it is the end. Don't compare us to what we had before, because what we had before was the missed chance to be together. However, I'm not sorry we had relationships. You with Dane, me with Tessa, because they grew us into what we are now. Maybe it would have ended between us if we'd taken our chance prematurely, but now we've got the timing perfected. We've been through so much, and even more we'll have to get through together. But I'll be ready for whatever life holds for us, as long as us means me and you, Jeanette. I could never genuinely mean this with anyone but you. You know, earlier today we left something unfinished again. We really did. We should keep it like this forever. Yes. Unfinished. Never letting our relationship come to an end. Always. Always watching it unfolding and unfolding. Forever. Yes.